The first supporting energy this evening is that we're asked to recognize that all the world is a stage and that this is the end of a glamour, a glamour, a collective illusion. And here the phrase, a storm's a comin'. And this feeling that the human is being asked, kind of like the Truman Show, to overcome a larger simulation and more than ever have the discernment to have the eyes to see, the ears to hear, and a heart that knows. We're encouraged to listen with our whole being. The lyrics, I can feel it in my bones. Can you feel it in your soul? So this is beyond the mind. This is a felt sensation. This is a resonance, the ringing of the gong through every cell and fiber of our being. And here we're being asked to connect to something greater, and that which I call weave with the capital W, that which is guided by the Holy Spirit, but requires our presence and our receptivity in order to understand what gifts are being given to us in each moment. And this energy of the glamour and the two roads diverging, Spirit speaks to one having like a lot of allure and a lot of flash, and possibly even a lot of what we might call like false light or charisma that draws you in but doesn't have a lot of substance. And the other road has a lot of what we might call like deep confidence, but it's not flashy. It's very humble. It's very strong. It's very warm, but it's not going to have a lot of bravado or bring a lot of attention to itself. And the lyrics that came up during this part of the reading were, "Are you a life force?" And the feeling I got from Spirit was, are you going to be seduced by this path, that is, possibly even being presented on paper as, checking all the boxes for doing right by humanity. But if you feel into it, there's an icky vibe. There's a sinister, not right vibe to it. And are we going to have the confidence to take the path less traveled, this meek and humble inheriting the earth, this path of spiritual integrity? Are we going to be a life force? Are we going to be the soul of a space when we're being asked to do so? And the question here from Spirit is, what or whom is casting a glamour over humanity? This is a false or untrue representation that is shifting into a convergence with our higher selves. So even though it can be viewed from especially, the lower dimensional perspectives as being a power over structure or a predator-prey structure, we also have to remember that our soul is using this false and untrue representation of self in order to bring us into that mirrored place, to kind of offer us that house of mirrors so that we can then converge with our divinity, to allow our soul to actually fully embody in this physical form. And this time is extremely powerful and positive in terms of our personal power. So what does that mean from Spirit? Well, it means the ability to stand on our own 2 feet, to be radiating our own light, to know with clarity what our heart desires. And Spirit says to meet the eyes of others with grace, to be warm, to be strong, to operate from a position of personal truth and strength rather than belief in our fatigue or low energy, or that we're too old, or our insecurities, infirmities, or injustices. We are remembering who we truly are, and we are invoking this power. And we will be connecting with others who see us and who also stop and share their attention, their respect, and their time with us. So if it's been a particularly isolating time for meaningful connection, Spirit is saying that is actually about to shift. However, with these 2 roads diverging, we will also have the opportunity to be surrounded by mirrors or others who believe us to be less than and probably will tell us so. We could feel that we're lacking confidence, the energy or the appearance, the image, even to handle a meeting or an opportunity that is arising for us. And Spirit is asking us to recognize that while that all might feel true to our human self, it's actually not true in the grander sense of things. To remember who we really are and to invoke the power, to know that we have the warmth, we have the strength, and to come once again from this position of personal truth and strength rather than a limiting belief system. And the last part of this part of the meditation was the phrase, walking amongst any and being their equal, the end of titles and nobilities. And we've talked on previous calls about this wave of energy coming to the planet that kind of knocks down anything that is not either a child, an animal, or someone who's right with God. And it doesn't matter if you're, a doctor, if you're a billionaire, if you have, all the most healthy relationships in the world, whatever we want to identify with as something that makes us who we are other than our core being. Spirit saying all that is going to be washed away. And so this is a really important time, not to keep beating the same beat on this drum, but to connect inward and to create that space mentally and emotionally and physically so that we can begin to anchor this truly into our physical form and begin to live our lives from this place of truth.